This is beyond ridiculous at this point.
What are you doing?
This is beyond ridiculous at this point, Brown.
Can you get out of the bathroom?
Nope, I can't.
This don't look right.
What are you doing?
I was trying to use the bathroom.
You're taking a nap.
Why would you just open the door without knocking?
Because the door was halfway open.
That's so disrespectful.
And we're trying to raise you on the radio. Where's your radio? Where is your radio, Brown? Where is your radio?
You got me.
Get out, come on. Where's your radio?
Where are you going? Can you put that phone?
I've done this many times in math class. She should have said she was closing her eyes, meditating, praying to find Jesus Christ. I guarantee you she would have gotten away with it.
Women were oppressed in history, but so were men. It's not
as much as women
see, now
were.
this is interesting, because if I say, how were women were oppressed? You're like, well, it's self-evident, Brian. I shouldn't have to educate you. Yet you've just asked me the same question. You've just asked, how were men oppressed? Shouldn't you know?
No, because that wasn't taught in school.
Ah, so isn't that interesting? Male oppression was never taught in school, but females' oppression was. Isn't that interesting? So who's really oppressed then?
Oh my God, Brian.
If men's grievances throughout history are overlooked, who's the real one that's oppressed?
Clearly, this woman was never told to shut up as a kid. Mr. Tate?
Be quiet. Cook. Shh.
Because we now live in an era where common sense is clearly not common practice. Ben Shapiro.
It's your pinned tweet to this date. Simply said, facts don't care about your feelings. And if any phrase, I think, perfectly epitomizes this woke era that we have somehow stumbled into, it's that. Because the woke brigade put feelings before facts.
Tap. Okay.
Neon!
Imagine if she died.
She's trolling. No.
Yeah, GG's is canceled. Done.
She's trolling.
GG's. GG's. Cancel culture got him. Don't fold though, Neon. Motherfucker, I'm gonna defend you.
What a gentleman. He didn't even bother to pick her up. I swear, TikTok is making the wrong people famous.
I'm enjoying it.
You're loving what?
The mansplaining.
The mansplaining
That's going on.
What do you
Well, just talking me through by not answering the question, by repeating processes which are not related to the question that I've asked.
What's mansplaining, Senator?
Well, it's the slightly patronising and condescending way that you're responding to my questions.
Well, I would suggest, Senator, that if you're putting the word man in front of some description of what I'm doing, you're doing that which I'm sure you're very much against, is making a sexist implication about how I'm conducting my role as a man.
Well, then the easiest way to do it...
Is that what you're saying, Senator?
Well, what I'm saying is that the way you've been responding to me has been patronising and condescending, and I have responded to that. So the easiest way to deal with this is not to have that way in responding to the questions I've asked.
Imagine the reaction, Senator, if I said you were woman-splaining. You're saying that I'm mansplaining.
Well, it is a term that's used.
Is it by whom?
Well, it is a term that's used.
By rude.
Doesn't make
by
any
rude
sense.
senators.
He isn't mansplaining. She just needs to woman understand. Because whenever you guys hear a woman accuse a man of mansplaining,
The mansplaining.
about 99.99999999999% of the time, she knows she is losing the argument. She accuses this man of being condescending, but yet she is the most condescending of the two.
By senators
no.
who are seeking to make gender an issue.
No, I'm not.
Do you want to reconsider what you said, Senator?
No, I don't.
You don't want it?
No.
You don't want it?
No.
I mean, I just find it extraordinary, Senator. I just find it extraordinary that you or any senator at this table would seek to invoke gender in impugning how a senator is responding.
Well, I'm surprised you haven't.
Let the
you
record
don't
show. Let the record
term
show,
mansplaining.
Chair, that Senator Gallagher thinks it's appropriate to refer to a senator as mansplaining. Take a good look at yourself I mean, sitting here and saying to
I don't
saying
need
to
a
a male
lesson from
senator,
you,
you're
Minister.
mansplaining. If I said to a female senator, you are womansplaining, there would be uproar. Stop being a hypocrite.
Well, I
Conduct
doubt
yourself
it.
appropriately for this
Well,
place.
I'm sorry you're so offended by the use of the word. It is a word that's used. I'm surprised that you're so shocked by the use of the word.
No, I'm just calling hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Thy name is Labor. Thy name is Senator Gallagher.
Well, I think you need to settle down, actually.
Senator, welcome to federal parliament.
Oh, right.
Welcome to federal
Minister,
parliament.
order. Where the big people
Minister,
play.
order.
I know I'm not the only one wondering how in the two rats ass fucking in a ranch Dorito bag did this woman get a seat in the Senate? Because if this woman was in charge, her version of the world would be an absolute nightmare. Because when dealing with feminists, we're talking about 0.01% logic and 99.999999999% emotions. Take a look.
Peter and Brendan stood up here and complained that other students, people like Tim and me, are engaged in a discourse of censorship, that we want to silence them. I mean, funny, you don't seem very silenced. For a start, you're here. For a second, you still have your national newspaper columns. Apparently, I don't read them, but people tell me they're still out there. So what you're really saying is that, not that we're trying to silence you, but that we have the audacity to try and erode the platform that our racist and misogynistic society has given to two privileged white men. That is what we are guilty of doing. What you are saying is you personally have a right to that platform, which other people are not given, that you personally should maintain hegemony over that platform. What we are saying is move the hell over. Other people deserve that platform. Other people who are not white, who are not men, and who are not of the people that you call privileged.
There's two things that I wanted to point out. The first one, why is this woman dressed as if she's debating if Sparta should go to war or not? And the second thing, this woman is a prime example of someone who in their entire existence never left their echo chamber.
Move over, and in order to do that, you have to create a space where those people can actually enter into that discourse. What I want to talk about, oh no thank you, is the discourse of hypocrisy. Because when they stand up here and say that they're engaged in free speech and they want free speech for everyone, they are actively denying the discourse of censorship that they are involved in. Brendan, when he refuses to recognise trans people's preferred pronouns and actively misgenders them in his national newspaper columns, is engaged in a discourse of censorship. He is saying, this is language to which I object. People calling themselves she when I think they are male is a language to which I object. I'm not going to recognise it, and I'm going to say that it is wrong. That is engaging in a discourse of censorship. It's also so arrogant to engage in that discourse when you are not a stakeholder in it. It matters nothing to you whether or not a trans person chooses to identify in whatever way, but you are so arrogant as to think that you are allowed to censor them from doing that. Utterly repulsive. No, thank you. I'm coming to you, don't worry.
Sweetheart, he's not arrogant. He just doesn't happen to give two utter shits about you.
I'll take you now. No? No PR1?
Yes,
Go
indeed.
for it.
Yeah, you said at the beginning that you didn't read our columns, and it's absolutely evident from what you've said this evening that you don't.
Okay. So, don't worry. I do my research. And the thing I'm referring to is when Peter Hitchens said about the rapes that occurred in Oxford, that obviously the fact that these were Muslims was important, because if you engage in a discourse where you think of other people as infidel and think of other people as lesser, that makes you more likely to be a rapist. That's why Muslims are more likely to be rapists. Exactly what you said.
Where? When?
2013. Look it up. You wrote it. Google it.
I didn't.
Right.
I didn't.
Okay.
You got the wrong
the
person.
problem is that this is. I mean, obviously, I did my research before the rape. That's just moronic to say that I didn't. Check it yourself. You should remember what you write, especially when it's that offensive.
You should get a new search engine.
The reason is that this also leads to harm, right? The reason why this discourse is so instrumental in perpetuating violence is obvious. Because apartheid doesn't make any sense if people aren't engaged in a discourse of racism. It will collapse under its own ridiculousness. It has to be buttressed by that discourse.
Can you guys just imagine being that guy standing there and as arrogant as this feminist is, talking about women in that tone with her overly aggressive body language? If I were that guy, I would have straight up told that woman this.
Somebody get this ham sandwich out of my court.
Somebody get this ham sandwich out of my court.
The more I watch these videos, the more I start to think that these feminists do not want equality. They want immunity for their mental disorder, disrespectful, aggressive, and on some occasions, or should I say most of the occasions, their violent, asinine behavior.
Homophobic attacks make no sense without a discourse that legitimizes homophobia, without playing into that discourse and being part of that conversation. Transphobic attacks make and all of the trans women and trans men who die in this country and other countries makes no sense without the discourse that Brendan O'Neill specifically perpetuates when he refuses to recognize their chosen gender identity. Islamophobic attacks in the UK make absolutely no sense without a discourse of Islamophobia, without the discourse that Peter Hitchens himself perpetuates. Peter Hitchens, when you write that a discourse of Islam is what causes Muslim men to rape, you are engaged in a discourse of censorship. You are saying that the discourse of Islam is something that is wrong, something that should not be allowed, something that you object to. Yeah, go for it.
Is it not true that to have a different opinion isn't the same as telling other people that they shouldn't have or they can't have that opinion?
Absolutely not! No!
Just imagine speaking for hours only to get demolished by a 5-second question. Legends say that the crowd is still cheering to this day.
To this day! To this day! To this day! To this day!
Gentlemen, there's this saying, the loudest one is usually the weakest in the room. On that note, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Hello? Yes? I am super non-conforming, L-sexual, reverse trans optic gender.